Our mind can make a heaven out of a hell and sometimes a hell out of a heaven. It has been seen that big dynasties and even the biggest powers in the history have really been destroyed just because of the absence of mind. Rome has been turned to dust because in the want to have a proper mind, and China was swimming in blood because to have the proper mind. It has been seen that the journey to understand mind remains one of the biggest pursuit and really one of the toughest things in a man's life to do. Our entire man's life goes in understanding the mind, and that is why thousands of experts across the world are engrossed in understanding the mystery of mind. In today's episode of Mental Wellness, I'll be really highlighting three important things which are really important to have a calm, composed, and a serene mind. We all know that most of us are always surrounded with a lot of challenges, negativity, and toxicity around us. But still, we all want to remain peaceful, calm, and really concentrated at our work. But it is really a difficult thing to do. But still, we really would be continuing our pursuit to remain calm and really lead a life of wellness and well-being. Our journey towards this mental wellness continues with this episode where I would be explaining to you a small thing which basically is known to most of us, but still, as it is said, the things which are easy to see are easy to miss. So let's understand first of all that what exactly is the pattern of mind. You will see that most of the time the happy moments are very small in our life. But if you really compare with those unhappy moments are more in our life. And that is why sometimes we say that God may have given equal share of both happiness and the sad moments, but we still remember the sorrowful moments. And that is because of the pattern of human mind. Human minds always collect the cues and facts, and that is why we always really easily refer and recognize those painful moments much easily, because most of the people always get flown with their reactive part of the mind, and that is why we always tend to react. Our emotions always really cloud our rational thoughts, and that is why when we really need to emotions in the right way, we couldn't do that. And that is when we really cross the fine line of demarcation of rational and irrational. So you have to understand that what exactly we can do to really concentrate and remain calm even in the most toughest situations, which can really be the secret of your mental wellness. Once, one small boy who was very much curious to know the secret of how to get the serenity and how to really find the calmness of his mind at his young age, he went to one saint at the foothill of Himalayas. He asked the worldly saint, who was basically free of all the distractions of life, he was really away from all the worldly distractions, who was really enlightened, that, hey sadhu, hey saint, please tell me that how to really concentrate the mind and how to really get rid of all the mental distractions. The sadhu was really very much astonished to see the curiosity of that young boy. He immediately went close to that boy and said, I'm really very much happy to know that you want to know how to get the serenity and calmness at such a young age. But I will also tell you something which is really important before you understand that. So this story which I'm going to tell you is really to give us an example that how exactly we can find the calmness and serenity in our mind. So let's proceed. The sadhu took that small boy out of his small hut in the foot of Himalayas to the nearest river, Ganges. That time was the rainy season and the river was flowing in all might. It was full of water and it was flowing in all might. Then he said, the young boy, do you notice that water? It is really like flowing in all might and it is gushing with lot of force. It is volume of water filled up and it's blowing with all might. But can you, my boy, think of drinking that water? The boy immediately reacted, yuck, that water is muddy and it is not fit for drinking. The sadhu immediately smiled and said that the same thing with most of the people in the worldly life. Their minds are always full of lot of ideas, lot of things, but they are really not fit for consumption. The reason is that the ideas, when are really mixed with so many other ideas, cannot really give you a calm mind. So if you really want to understand the difference of a person who really want to get a serenity or a calm mind, should always try to unclutter his or her mind. The boy understood. Then he said that if you really look into that river, then you will not be able to see what exactly is in the water. Do you know why? Because it is full of dirt. It is full of mud. But the same river, if you come in the winter, you will be really settled. Because most of the time, the river in that side in Himalaya, which comes from the Gangotri, is very much cold at that time and it gets almost freezed. And that is why the water which flows is very gentle, and then you can see even at the bottom of the river where it's so clean. So the sadhu said that even if you throw a coin into the river, you can still see the denomination of that coin. Do you know why? Because it is clear. So that is when you really flow gently, and when your mind is going slowly, you really have the clarity of your thoughts. So the second thing which he highlighted is the clarity, because sometimes we could not find the clarity because we are not thinking in a gentle manner. Our mind is not going in a slow way. So if you are really getting too much of aggression of thoughts and too many things, and you are really trying to do things in a hurry, you may not be able to get the clarity. And then the third thing which he showed the small boy, he said, the boy, do you know that most of the time devotees who come to this river during this time of the rainy season, they are too much surprised by its all might and force, and sometimes with knowing the danger of this river, they become too much attracted to it. And sometimes these devotees just try to go and step into the water and try to take a dip into that water, and the result, many of them are being swept away by the river. So that means it is very dangerous to go close to such river during this time. But the same river, in the time of winter, you can really go into the water, you can still put your feet, but that time it is not so much dangerous. That means it is like the mind of the worldly people, where they are having so many thoughts, but they can be very harmful, because people with so much of aggression, so much of turbulence in their mind can really cause a big disaster. Even in their ignorance, they can make such big blunder, which can really create a lot of confusion, and sometimes this makes a toxic environment around us. So he said that, young boy, that if you really want to get a calm, serene and a peaceful mind, then you have to first of all understand these three things which I've shown you today. The first, you need to really remove all the ideas from your mind and concentrate on one idea. That means unclutter your mind. And the second thing is that you should understand that when you are thinking on any given thought, it should be going in a very gentle and a slow moving style. And the third thing is that a disturbed mind, a mind which is a lot of ideas, sometimes even the good ideas are no more good because of its adulteration of so many thoughts, and it can be harmful for others, and it can create toxicity around yourself. That's why it is difficult for you to really do good to others, and same for you. So that's why it is better that you really don't try to talk to people when you have so much of thoughts in your mind. Rather wait when your mind is uncluttered, and when you are really peaceful, you can really convey or communicate things. That is the time when I can do good to others. So your mind is just like that river. When your mind is disturbed, you cannot offer it to someone else, and neither you can consume it yourself. So like that river, we all actually have to understand in our life that our life is always really good when we allow ourselves to settle down. And our mental wellness is really connected with this story which I have said you today, that if you really want to get the mental calmness, you want to get the mental peace, first of all we need to ask a question to ourselves, that what exactly we want to do with ourselves and why we are doing that, and what is really the purpose of doing that. And before that, you should really think that what I really out of my life. If you really understand that, I'm sure you will really be close to that answer, that what exactly you should be thinking by this time. Most of the time, we tend to get distracted in this digital world, and that's why we all have different devices in our hand, and many times in our ignorance, we really get distracted by this kind of things, and our mind get easily swept with this distraction. But we need to know what is our objective, what is our goal, and when you really do that concisely, I'm sure we really will be able to get that mental serenity and that mental wellness. I'm sure this video will be useful for you. If you really apply these 3 simple things in your life, I'm sure it can change your way of dealing things and handle the difficult situations. And I'm sure this dose of mental wellness will really keep you recharged for one more active and soothing week with a lot of productivity and productive thoughts. I will really come back with such interesting and informative videos in my next session of Mental Diet Food for Thought. Till then, stay well, stay positive.